everybody. I'm Deanna. I would like to thank my husband, my children, my friends, and all of our supporters for coming here tonight and listening to our stories. Thank you, Howard. I love your story because you're so good at telling without looking at it, and I am going to actually look at mine. It was a hot July day, floating on the lake with friends. The conversation turned to cancer because Steve's dad was recently diagnosed. Cancer was so prolific in my own family that I joked about spinning the wheel and seeing what your cancer was going to be. Talk about manifesting your destiny. That July slowly crept into late August. Day by day, I ignored the signs: night sweats, bruising, extreme exhaustion, which made walking to the mailbox on a short, flat driveway challenging. My heart was constantly racing. The blood pulsing in my ears was so loud that it drowned out other noises. My heart was struggling to keep my body moving. I needed to do something. So I left Isabel with her 3 younger siblings and went to my endocrinologist, convincing myself it was my thyroid. Nope, that was fine. So I called my general practitioner. I was stressed for an answer and anxious about leaving the kids alone again. My doctor said my heart rate was off the charts and wanted me to go for an EKG. I told her I'd go, knowing that I wasn't going. I was stressed again and so extremely tired. So I left, I got the kids, I did everything you do in the dog days of summer until it was time to put Jack to bed. At the time, he was 3. Then the phone started ringing and ringing and ringing until I finally snatched it up. I was annoyed at who could be calling me so late. I just wanted this day to end. The call was from my doctor's calling service, telling me to go to the ER right now. Well, they could tell me there was something wrong with my blood work. That wasn't what I expected. We went again, and I left Isabel again in charge of the kids. Hours in the ER with no answers rolled into an overnight. Nobody was talking. In hindsight, I should have known that receiving multiple blood transfusions was not normal. The next morning, a doctor came into my room and matter-of-factly said, "I think you've got acute lymphoblastic leukemia, but we'll need to do a bone marrow biopsy to be sure." By the way, anyone who's had a bone marrow biopsy, they are absolutely no fun. I was confused and I immediately burst into tears because I was not expecting that news. At that moment, my husband came into the room. He had this "you got this" kind of smile that quickly turned to horror. The rest was a blur of instructions and information, and all I remember was take this biopsy and go to Dana-Farber. Staff will be waiting for you at the ER. Which sounds completely ridiculous. Why would anyone be waiting for me? I'm so far away. Again, we left Isabel in charge. We went east on 90 and my mother-in-law went west, passing us. Shockingly, the people were there. In 24 hours, I had gone from Albany to Boston in my room with my Hickman lines installed, preparing for my first rounds of chemo. It was a blur. What started as a beautiful August day passed into October. I missed many firsts. 4th birthday, the first day of pre-K, elementary, junior, and high school. Again, I had no idea getting to remission would take so long and be so hard. The high doses of steroid, chemo, shuffling the staff, and the constant beeping made it impossible to sleep. I was in Boston and my family was here. So I found ways to escape. I rejected sympathy cards in favor of inappropriately funny ones. My favorite was, "Get well soon, you big faker." I'm not a sitter, so I convinced the staff to let me wander the complex with my chemo treat as long as I wore a glove and masks. Between rounds, they let me wander the streets. I even convinced a local museum to let me in for free because I had cancer. After several rounds of chemo, I was drained, but I had thought I had finally kicked cancer's butt. But no, cancer wasn't going down without a fight. I had a chromosomal abnormality called Philadelphia positive. meaning I needed a stem cell transplant to survive. With no related donors, they need to find an unrelated donor on Be the Match. That's an organization that matches people with similar DNA. It was devastating news. It seemed bonkers that somewhere in this world, someone shared my DNA in a volunteer database. So I left my cozy suite at the Brigham, I went home, and I waited. Random acts of kindness. Luckily for me, somewhere in the Midwest, a match was found. It was any given Tuesday, and he was hurrying to leave work to get home. There was a Be the Match drive in his office lobby. He tried to ignore the pleas for a swab, but he eventually gave in. That simple act would be the defining moment of my life. He got the call that he was a match for a mother of 4 somewhere in the US, and her perfect match. Now he had to make a choice when his own life was bustling with new beginnings. He was newly married and eagerly anticipating the arrival of his first child. With things in his life, I'm sure he forgot all about his cheek swab. Giving time. Tyler probably didn't think he was going to get that call, that he was a match, and he had to go to Johns Hopkins in DC. Not once, but twice. Despite the distance from his home, time off work, and leaving his pregnant wife in Missouri, he went. My transplant was scheduled to begin before Thanksgiving on 11/22. Thanksgiving was on the 28th that year. Preparing for the donation was the hardest thing I'd ever endured. It made chemo seem easy. I wasn't prepared for the 6 20-minute rounds of full-body radiation over 3 days. That, coupled with the intense chemo, left me unable to function. The pain in my head was so intense that I couldn't stop violently vomiting. Sitting, standing, any movement was excruciating. No amount of painkiller would make it go away. Out of options, the doctors decided to test my brain fluid. If you've ever had an epidural, it's like that. Immediately, I felt better. It turns out that I had chemically induced meningitis from all the mumbo jumbo going on in my body. So Tyler went back to DC too. Leaving his pregnant wife and supporting family, he went. He became a super donor, making more stem cells than my body needed that would create the perfect storm for my recovery. If there was ever something to be more grateful for that Thanksgiving, it was Tyler's sacrifice. He was committed to saving a life. My life, a stranger's life.
I love you, Mom.
Today, I am Tyler. I am a genetically modified human with his DNA and his blood type. Technically, I'm 10 years old. But I have the bones of a 70-year-old woman. Kelly Clarkson said it best. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Tyler's selflessness was inspiring. I now had a new understanding of blood cancers, how diverse they are, the long road to recovery, and the ultimate toll it takes on families just trying to survive. How do people without the resources and support network across that bridge from diagnosis to recovery without breaking? Breaking physically, emotionally, and financially. While I was in treatment, my friends and family created a Like the 19 Gen and named it the Wicklund Warriors. That team went on to become a super team. In 2015, we became a not-for-profit dedicated to helping families with a blood cancer in the 11 counties surrounding the Capital District. We help them build that bridge. We are the survivors on the other end of the phone, calling to let you know that we are here and that no one stands alone. No one fights alone. It takes a village, a community. The Wicklund Warriors collaborate with NYOH medical professionals to ensure we provide what our applicants need. This has allowed us to forge amazing relationships with nurses Amy Rudolph, I know you're back there, Jackie, you too. Rachel Rootbright at the NYOH Community Cancer Foundation is also a partner on this journey. Together we are helping families bridge the gap across that vast ocean of cancer. Our Bad Blood Club of Survivors collaborates with other local charities to share best practices and to see how we can each do our part to ensure better lives for those in the 518. We're not just helping people survive, we're helping them emerge from cancer stronger and with the desire to give back and to pay it forward. It's a beautiful ripple effect of kindness, spreading hope and compassion wherever it goes. I'm very proud to be part of that community of survivors and supporters in this together, sharing our stories, lending an ear, and showing kindness to those walking the same path we once did. So cheers to resilience, to hope, and the power of community. Together, we can weather any storm.